Hope everyone's doing well today. An update Monday evening. We're well into the first week of October. If you've watched the last couple videos, we've shown you some of the things we're doing in the garden to get ready for a rose show. I briefly showed you some of those organza bags over the blooms to show you how we protect things from bugs and chewing insects. You may have seen some pictures on my Instagram or even Facebook, and then sometimes I'll do stuff on TikTok. If you're not already following us there, Rosy Forecast, same places here on YouTube. They're just shorter videos or pictures. So Instagram, we're doing still pictures. TikTok, we're doing funny videos, and Facebook, kind of a combination. Here on YouTube, we'll continue to do long form videos on what we're doing in the garden. So just making you aware that we are in multiple places here on social media. Today I'm going to do a brief video, have about an hour until sunset. It's Monday, the rose show is on Friday. What am I doing in the garden? Why am I covering blooms? Why can't they get dew and raindrops on them? Can't they stand up to that? We'll kind of show you quickly why I'm doing that, how things are looking in the garden, and what we're doing to prepare for hopefully a rose show on Friday. Still a little questionable. We've got some blooms opening up, but you never know what's going to happen with weather. We are expecting some high winds and rain later this week. So we'll see what happens, what we have for Friday. So let me show you what we're doing this evening to at least have some blooms for the show. I'm going to show you another example of how we cover up roses. And one thing I want to emphasize is we're talking blemishes for a rose show, and my son Christian's here is watering. So that's one step. Roses love water, especially prior to a show. I'll make sure that they get an abundance of water. So during the summer, maybe I just let drip irrigation run a couple times a week. Leading up to the rose show, I'm watering a couple times a week, really pumping those things full of water. I'm going to show you some examples of what we have right now and then why we cover them. If you don't have Marilyn Monroe, look at this rose, and I hope the color's coming across. We're just kind of getting towards sunset, so we've got the sunshine in the garden. There's one bloom on Marilyn Monroe. Here's another one, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick this up, but perfect spiral form. This is a perfect rose, but if you look really carefully, there's a couple blemishes, some sunspots. If there's any water on this rose, whether it's from dew or raindrops, the dew and water droplets can be magnified by the sun. So sometimes you'll get some spotting on the rose itself. Again, you don't care about giving this to a neighbor, but for a rose show where you're competing against other roses, it could be penalized. So I'm hoping later this week, this rose above it, I hope that opens because I'll get that covered up and we'll get things looking good. So I want to show you Crescendo, an example of this, what I'm talking about, the spotting. Again, we're talking real minor imperfections. You'll laugh. This is something that, I certainly would give to a neighbor. But notice those little spots on the rose. Those are caused by water droplets on them. I'll do another one here. This is also Crescendo. Again, beautiful spiral form. But look right down here, this spotting. That's caused by having water droplets on the flowers. So whether it's from dew or rain, that would cause that. And the reason why I didn't cover this is on a short stem, so I can't cover everything in the garden. I try to cover as much as I can and try to focus on the ones that I think have a chance. So initially, as the rose bush is in just bud form, I will put on a organza bag like that to keep the insects out. And then as the rose opens, it gets a covering. That's an upside down, not upside down, a juice container. The bottom is just cut off, and then we use some equipment, some bolts and nuts and wing nuts to attach that to some sort of pole. And again, the whole idea here, I'll kind of get up under here, is that rose is being protected by the dew and also raindrops. If it gets really windy, it kind of clanks around in there and it doesn't work. So that's why I'm hoping that we're not that windy later this week. But you can see that Veterans Honor is perfectly protected from the rain or any dew that we're going to have this week. And that will prevent that spotting. As far as these poles go, this is kind of a funny story. You have to work with me here for a second. This metal pole is a 10-foot section of conduit pipe cut in half. So I had multiple 5-foot sections pounded into the ground, maybe a foot, and you have a nice 4-foot stake, and you could easily attach this Gatorade jug or apple juice jug and move it up and down the pole. Very efficient. This worked very well in New York. Well, we're not in New York anymore, and it's not just the Fortuniana rootstock. I've got Multiflora, Dr. Huey, and Own Root. It's the weather. From February through November, we have flowering roses. Our roses are green most winters. We have a long season. So because of that, they get extremely tall. This is even with pruning it multiple times, including it just last August. So because of that, I have to have an extender. And this is kind of a test for me. I have multiple 5-foot sections of PVC pipe for my blueberry patch to keep them protected. So I just attached another section of PVC with zip ties, and that just extended it up to what I need, because that's almost 7 feet tall right there to get that bloom protected. So I know my friends in New York that I exhibited with are probably laughing at me because this was more typical. I mean, even this is a big rose right here. More typical is I just had to use one pole, put it on a the jug on the pole, and move it up and down. But my roses in New York were 2.5 to 3.5 feet tall, 4 tops. But much longer season here. So this is Sunny Sundays. I want to bring the hair dryer out here and get this thing to open. I'm hoping it will. The sepals are down. When the sepals, those are the little things on the outside of the bloom itself, when they start to go down and you start to see color, it can be days to a week until it opens. That depends on weather, how many petals it has, humidity, all kinds of stuff. But it's got a organza bag around it, and it is covered with this Hawaiian Punch jug as well. So you can tell that I'm optimistic, and I'm optimistic because look at this cane. This is over 3 feet long, gigantic cane, gigantic leaves. The rose is judged primarily on bloom, but when it comes down to it, the overall vigor counts. So if you have one sunny Sundays next to the other, you know, all this other stuff of vigor will count. Now, we don't know if this bloom is going to open with the center, but we're certainly going to protect it because it has the first 2 parts, the leaves and the stem, and we'll kind of go from there. So I just kind of come around each morning or evening, look to see how things are going, and that's what I'm going to do now once I finish off this video, you know, putting organza bags on buds that are cracking, and then potentially protecting some. And then if a bloom like this catches my eye, this is Zach Noble's, it's the Sport of Let Freedom Ring. I didn't cover these. Some sneak by you, and it is what it is. So I'm tempted to cut these and put them into the refrigerator. And I know my reds are not, it's an orangish red, but it's not coming through on my iPhone. I apologize because you're missing out on the true vibrance of this rose. But these I may cut and bring inside and try to enter them in other categories like the English box. So this evening, we're going to be covering up more roses. At this point, probably not putting too many more organza bags on, because at this point, unless it's really opening, like I said, the bud is showing signs of the sepals down and it being you know, close to opening, it's not worth it. And I'll kind of cover some more. There's one that I'm optimistic about, that is Louise Estes. Some of these are looking really good. So you know, as they open more, I may have to get a bigger organza bag on that, or even take it off and then get a cover on it, because at this point I'm more worried about it having dew on it than any bugs. So that's it from the garden. I think I see one more thing I'll show you. I think Claire Elise, this is looking really good. Of course I didn't cover this one, but that's looking really nice. So got a lot of good blooms in the garden. I did stake some of these because of the wind, and you can see the ones that I didn't stake for the show. We had a cane down from Let Freedom Ring. We had some winds up over 40 miles per hour last week. So I still say, although we have the longer growing season, this is a challenging area to grow exhibition roses. Between the hurricanes, I'm 3 miles from the ocean, so just regular old wind we get quite frequently. And then you put in the growth of the roses, you know, having to get up on a ladder to cover them up is certainly quite the story and quite the sight. So let me know what you think about this video. We'll try to produce some more. If I go to the show, I'll do some videos on that. Whether or not I do, check out my channel. A couple videos ago, I did a post about the June Rose Show I did. So while you're waiting to see what happens with the State Fair in South Carolina, look back at June. We did the Winston-Salem show in North Carolina. So you can see some information on that now. Have a good one, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well. I know for some up north, even though it's been a mild, very mild fall, you're probably getting ready to put your roses to bed, and then eventually it'll be winter down here as well, and we'll look forward to next year. I'll last leave you with Louise Estes. Unfortunately, none of these blooms will be ready. They're open, but man, look at that color. Outstanding. If you haven't gotten a Louise Estes, go get you one, because look at that color. It's beautiful. It has form as well, and it's a great growing rose bush. Take care, everyone.